You may not think of the word communism when you think of the state of Texas, but maybe you should. Because in the year 2025, we still have one of the most communist forms of taxation that exists. You never actually own your home here in the state of Texas. Oh, and by the way, the Republican-led Texas House could actually stop it. They just don't want to. And they're lying to you about it. You're going to want to pull up a chair for this one. Welcome back to Come and Take It. Now, I would just like to say right off the bat, the fact that I still have to talk about property taxes in the state of Texas in 2025 is so pathetic and embarrassing. It is so embarrassing to me. I had a comment on one of my, I think it was my last episode last week, and they were like, oh, do you not realize how silly you guys look? Texas, and you're complaining about how bad it is? I'm like, oh, trust me, I know. I'm not over here trying to paint this picture like Texas is just the land of freedom and liberty. Texas is deep red. That's what they said. They said, oh, well, you guys always act like Texas is a deep red state. I'm like, you're on the wrong podcast. I sure don't. I sure don't. I'm trying to save us before we go blue. This is our last grasp at trying to take back some of all of the ground that we've ceded. Try to take back some of that redness. I'd love it if we were in close to being deep red, but we're not. So this is really embarrassing that we even have to talk about this still in 2025 because we have these elected officials and they are like cosplaying like they give a crap about these founding principles. Like they're fighting so hard to protect your freedom and protect your liberty. They'll make these quips about, don't California my Texas. Stay in California. We don't do that commie stuff here. This is Texas after all. Yeah, so you tell me why, if you hate communism so much, guys, our elected leaders, you tell me why in the year of our Lord 2025 do we still have a property tax?
Ben, where's all your money gone, Daddy?
Taxes. It's the worst part of the game.
Oh, it's what?
Taxes.
Explain it. Because here's how it works right now. Here's how it's been working for far too long. You buy a home here in the state, you then pay for that home, usually through a mortgage. Okay, so maybe it takes you 20 years, 30 years, but you make an honest living, you work hard, and you pay for your home in full. And then even after you've already paid for your home in full, you owe $0 on that home. And all of the years working up to that point, and afterwards, you will still get a bill from the government every single year in Texas charging you for that land that you own. Those of you who are listening on audio podcasts, I'm doing air quotes there because you don't really own your home. If you have to pay a renter's fee to the government to stay on your land that you already paid for, you never truly own your home. You have to continue paying the government for your home. Nobody owns private property, actually, right? You don't own private property. You don't own your home. That sounds a little communisty to me, okay? So remember, case in point, okay? Cackling Kamala Harris talked about an unrealized capital gains tax as part of her brilliant strategy, her master plan to pay for all of this communist crap that she wanted to inject into the country. And she got completely blasted for it. Like she even had liberals who were like, that's crazy. Also, that's unconstitutional. Also, that's communism. And so you had even them calling her out. And by the way, that's all true. It is. It's crazy. But I want to be clear here. An unrealized capital gains tax means, because it's the same thing, right? It means if your investments, you're invested in certain stocks or you have a portfolio that you have investments and those investments maybe do well in the market one year, okay? So they gain value. You look at the little, the ticker, the graph from January of one year to December of one year, and it's like the arrow's tracking upwards, okay? So they're gaining value, but you're not actually selling them. Meaning you haven't actually made any money off of it. You haven't sold it. It's not over there stashed in your bank account. It's not liquid. You haven't actually done anything with it. You still would have to, in unrealized capital gains taxes, you still would have to pay the government for the money that you have not yet earned based off of its value. Okay? That's why it's called unrealized. You have not yet realized the income, but you're still going to pay the government for it. That is why everyone looks at that and goes, okay, that's crazy. Those people haven't earned that money. That's not money that they brought in. Why would you tax them for it? That's unconstitutional. And I would just ask, what is the difference? I would love for you guys to let me know in the comments. By the way, make sure you're subscribed to the show, okay? Give us a like because we all know that the algorithm is working against us. And let me know the answer to this question. I still haven't been able to figure it out. What is the difference between an unrealized capital gains tax that crazy comrade Kamala Harris was talking about, was her brilliant master plan to get America back, which is, again, wholly unconstitutional? What is the difference between an unrealized capital gains tax and a property tax? Because a property tax, you're still paying the government money based on the value of your home, which you have not sold yet. You have not made any money off of that value. So if that value goes up, and by the way, it always goes up. Isn't it so fascinating? The value of your home in Texas, it just always tracks up. Doesn't go down. In all of these property taxes, your property taxes go up every single year. So you haven't actually made any money off of this home, off of the value of this land, of this home that you have, but you're still paying for the value to the government. And by the way, this might be the only thing that Kamala Harris's campaign actually got right during the last presidential election when they were forced to try to explain this crazy policy to CNBC. I would not call CNBC like far right wing or whatever. And you even had all of these, left wing commentators who were like, hey, this is crazy. How are you going to do this? It's like totally unfair. By the way, unconstitutional, but totally unfair. And you even had Kamala Harris's own campaign who were like, well, actually, you dummies, you're already doing it with property taxes. What's the difference?
Unrealized gains, taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word. In the very best sense, if you are taxing unrealized gains, all you're doing is pulling forward the taxes that would be paid later when someone actually sells the stock.
I think that this reaction to unrealized gains is a little funny, given that I bet that the majority of people watching right now are already paying a tax on unrealized gains. It's called a property tax.
He's not wrong. They got a lot of things wrong in that campaign. That he was not wrong. So here in Texas, not only do we still have this crazy communist policy, we have a Republican-led legislature. Okay? Sorry. Oh, gosh, I forgot the air quotes. We have a Republican-led legislature. We have a Texas GOP platform that calls for abolishing the property tax. And not only are your Republican legislatures not abolishing it, not working towards abolishing it, not talking about abolishing it, they are lying to you and taking a victory lap for doing essentially nothing on this issue. It is, I can't even wrap my brain around how incredibly dishonest and evil this is, okay? So you may have seen that the Texas House just advanced a record $337 billion budget. That's not the kind of record you want, by the way, guys. That record is like, that's the opposite record that we should be trying to do here in the state of Texas. This is the largest budget in state history, even though we have a $24 billion surplus. So tell me how, when we have a $24 billion surplus, we're going to be funding the largest budget in state history. Make that math make sense. Okay, so there's a lot to say there. I could go off for 30 whole minutes on all of that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for a different day because I want to hone in on this property tax thing. We were just promised a couple years ago here in the state of Texas, those of you who live here, you remember, we were just promised, our legislators had just passed major property tax relief. That's what they all went. They all campaigned and they said, we brought you guys major property tax relief. Look how good we are. Oh my God, we're so conservative. I just can't even stand it. Oh, well, here's how that really worked, actually. According to CBS News, just recently they wrote, in 2023, voters approved a tax relief plan the legislature passed, which raised the homestead exemption for school districts, among other measures to bring down tax bills. Despite that, many residents saw their tax bills grow, especially the portion that does not go towards funding schools. Oops.
News and analysis on what's happening in Texas. End your day with daily headlines from Texas Scorecard. Every day at 5 p.m., join me, Brandon Waltons, as we recap the biggest stories of the day and talk about why they matter to you. From the state capitol to town hall, there's no shortage of events happening. Keep up with it all. Watch and subscribe to Daily Headlines from Texas Scorecard.
So if you do live in Texas, you know that that's true because odds are you didn't feel that major tax relief that they claimed that they gave you. Again, comment and let me know. Did you feel that? When you got your property tax bill come in from your tax assessor, were you like, oh my gosh, I feel the love. Look at that savings. No, nobody did. It just keeps going up. So they're doing it again. And the lying and the deceitfulness is just like on an incomparable level this time. So you probably saw them running around like, we pass record amounts of property tax relief. Again, same thing. We're so conservative. Look at us. We're so conservative. Looking at you, Representative Jared Patterson, who probably is one of the worst when it comes to being just intentionally dishonest and trying to deceive his voters. And blocking everyone, by the way. So he said, this week I helped pass the most conservative Texas House budget in history, and I want you to know exactly what that means. We delivered $51 billion in property tax relief, the largest in Texas history. Well, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be that would really be a feat. $51 billion in property tax relief, the largest in Texas history that they just passed just this session for us to be used right now. If that were true, that would be like over $7,000 per family in savings. Wow, we would all feel it in our bill if we received one, because some people probably wouldn't even get a bill, okay? Except it's just not true. It's a total lie. These people are banking on you being too damn dumb to go look at the actual facts. And I know that you're not. They think you are. I know you're not, okay? They're trying to tell you that they just saved you $51 billion this session. They didn't. What they're doing is they're adding up all of the relief from this session and previous sessions, and then they're doubling that number to get a completely made up, fabricated number. The number, you're going to love this, okay? The number is actually far lower. And I want you, don't take my word for it, listen to a member of the Legislative Budget Board admit earlier this session, back in February, that the number in the budget only gives $3.5 billion in property tax relief. Again, despite there being a $24 billion surplus. Watch.
That, but so that was there. It's maintaining what was originally required. And then on top of that, we're adding 3.5. On top of what you just articulated, there's 3.5.
There's 3.5 that is completely new outside of what is required by the education code. The point I was trying to make is that
that's the perfect answer. So yeah, completely understand, and that helps clarify for me. So thank you very much. Thanks, Chair. Thank you.
So I'm not like a mathematician or anything. I always try to give this disclosure. I'm not a big math girl, okay? But 3.5 billion is a far cry from 51 billion. That's not like oops, we rounded up. That's not what that is. It's not going to put a dent in anything that Texans are feeling when we get this bill and have to pay it every year. All right. And so you may be able to give these people some grace. By the way, there were a lot of great conservatives who were opposed to this, who voted against it for, I'm sure, for this reason and many others. Okay. So I don't want you to go and think, oh no, well, all these conservatives that are in the Texas House have to go. No, in fact, I'm showing you right now, here it is. These are the Republicans who did not go along to get along and are acting in true conservative fashion when it comes to opposing what needs to be opposed and not just going along to get along, all right? So you may be able to give them some grace, okay, if they were truly working on it, if they were truly trying. But if they were truly trying and they were truly working on it, and they actually cared about giving you real meaningful relief, they wouldn't be coming up with fake numbers and trying to sell them to you as real because they think you're too dumb to know that they're lying. They wouldn't be doing that. They would be explaining to you their process, and they would be saying, actually, here's how, listen, this is a problem, but this is a problem that can't go away with the snap of a finger. We have to have a strategic weaning off, if you will, of how we are, getting rid of this program. We're working towards abolishing it. We're working to whatever they were working towards, they would tell us, here's our goal. Here's how we intend to get there, but we have to stair step in order to get there. They're not doing that. They're just blatantly lying to you. They're just manipulating numbers, being very careful with their language to lie to you about what is actually happening. And I just have absolutely no tolerance for that and no respect for it either. Be honest. If you don't care about Texans having to pay for income, basically, why does the value of my property matter if I'm not making any money off of that? I haven't sold the home, but you're still taxing me for the value, even though I'm not, that's not my income. I'm not receiving income on that value. Okay? So they're taxing us as if we're getting income from that. At least just say, we don't care. They don't do that. They pretend like they care while spitting in your face at the same time. And there is something just so disgusting about that. I mean, sometimes with the Democrats, even with let's say someone like a Kamala Harris, it's like there's something almost respectable about just tell us, okay? Just tell us. If that's what you're going to do, just tell us and own it. There's something somewhat respectable. A Bernie Sanders, say. He is totally crazy, off the reservation crazy, but he owns it. He owns it. These Republicans, man, they make deals with the devil. They make deals with the Democrats, and they'll come and lie to you about how conservative they are, and it is disgusting. So yet another conservative priority that is being completely ignored by Republican, there's those air quotes again, Dustin Burrows, Speaker of the House. Now, I just want to leave you with this. Remember, I know I say this often, but it's worth repeating. Remember, we had an unprecedented amount of primaries that incumbents lost last session because of this type of behavior. So let's clear these lying losers out, the ones that remain. Let's clear these lying losers out next primary, and let's get people in courageous enough to do what we sent them to Austin to do, or be honest enough to tell us why they don't want to do it. We have an opportunity. I understand it's like, okay, well, here we are again. We're wasting time. I agree with you. We made great progress. We just need to make more progress so that we actually do have a Republican-led Texas House, a Republican majority Texas House, but it's like actual Republicans, not just Democrats running in Republican areas and realizing that they need to register as a Republican and then just let the Democrats run things. We do have an opportunity to do that, but we have to wake up enough people. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to send this to at least one Texan who needs this information, and encourage them to get involved, get active, go talk to your representative, and that's fine. But like, we need to be thinking long-term here because these people are not going to do it unless we force their hand. But I do think that we can achieve a lot as long as we are active and do it. So hoping to have greater, more positive news for you next week. I just don't know. It's their fault, not mine. Right? So again, I'm going to ask you one more time before we go. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure that hey, go run over to audio podcasts. If you're not listening on audio podcasts, go run over Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just look us up real quick and give us a great review. It'll help us in the algorithm. And we will see you next time on Come and Take It.